What is up everyone? Today we're going to take a look at a PowerBook G4 15-inch. Now this little beast will not turn on and the data on the drive is very important. I'm fixing it for a friend and he basically doesn't care about the outcome of the machine. He doesn't necessarily want the machine working or whatever. He just wants the data off the drive, which is totally fair enough. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to change angles. We're going to go straight down to my desk and we're going to take a look at this PowerBook G4. And it's actually awesome doing a PowerBook video because I haven't had a PowerBook, in this room, in these four walls since my actual PowerBook that I had, 3 years ago or whatever, that I made a nice video about. The video got fairly popular, but I'm just ranting about all sorts of various crap in that video. But anyway, without further ado, everyone, let's roll the intro and then we'll get straight to this PowerBook goodness. So here we have it. This is a 15-inch PowerBook G4, and as you guys know, I've been using a 2008 MacBook Pro for nearly a year now, I think it must be. And the difference, even though they look very similar, the difference in the machines are quite massive. I may take a look at that. I may do a comparison video between the two. There are videos out there like that on YouTube already, but it's just shocking to me. These are a lot thicker than I remember. This is, for the time, it was a really sleek laptop for the power, but compared to today's standards, these are just quite sort of brick-like. They are very thick. Having said that, when you take a look at your average Windows-based laptop these days, even though they may be thinner, they're just completely all over the place in terms of like the bottom isn't flat and stuff. If James was here, he'd be ranting like hell about that. But yeah, this is the PowerBook. It's of course looking in fairly rough shape. This machine has been on the road for years and years doing all sorts of things, and it's been replaced by a 17-inch i7 MacBook Pro. So a worthy upgrade, and this is not working, guys. It does not power up. The battery does not hold any kind of charge, but like I keep saying, the files on this machine are important. So basically my plan is we're going to whip out the hard drive, we're going to stick the hard drive in an enclosure and then see if the hard drive is functioning and if we can get the files off it. So yeah, that should be pretty cool. So to take one of these apart, all you need is a fairly small Phillips screwdriver, probably smaller than this one, and you need a Torx T6 driver for just 2 of the screws at the top of the keyboard, I believe. I haven't watched any kind of tutorials because I can't be bothered. I'm just going to wing it and see how I go. I do have an enclosure somewhere. I'm just trying to find it now, actually. Here we go. This is an IDE drive enclosure. It's got an 80 gig drive in there that I dropped in college and no longer works, but it's one of these with the dual USB, so it gets enough power. And yeah, you can just simply stick an IDE drive. Actually, hang on, I think it could be SATA. Yeah, this is a SATA enclosure. Okay, I'm wrong, this is definitely SATA. Yeah, I do have an IDE enclosure somewhere. It's a little black one, so I will be using that. But yeah, let's put that to one side for a minute because we don't need it, and let's start taking apart this PowerBook G4. So, first things first, let's take out the battery. I don't have a coin to hand. Hey, I found a coin, even though it's only a 5p. It'll do. So, that's it for the battery. The battery is pretty much completely dead. It is indeed an Apple original, but it's probably not the original that came with the machine. It's probably been replaced. So we don't need the battery. It will not charge. We've tried a couple of different chargers. So that's the battery out. Next we'll do the... Wow, this screwdriver is quite big. I wouldn't mind finding my smaller screwdriver. Right, so I found a bit of a better screwdriver. I like this screwdriver a lot. And it just does the trick for these laptop screws really well. So this is the memory cover. Okay, so the cover pops off like so. And here's the RAM. Just could be DDR2 RAM in some of these newer PowerBook G4s. Let's take a look at what we've got in here. Ah yeah, 512. 512 megs in each slot. So this has got a gig of RAM in it, which is pretty cool. Not maxed out, but there we go, RAM's over there safe. I believe there may be a screw or two that we have to take out in this battery compartment, in this RAM compartment, sorry. Looks like we need to take that one out, which is already out, pretty much. Cool. I'll put that separately so I know it's from the memory compartment. And then this one, that comes out too by the looks of it. Cool. And there's a couple of screws in the battery compartment. Now, if I was to keep my PowerBook for longer back in the day, I was going to open it up and change the drive. I remember back in the day, it was kind of before SSDs were at all affordable. So I wanted to put in a 320GB 7200 RPM drive. That would have been cool. But anyway, let's start unscrewing the bottom of the machine. So we've got 4 screws along the back. And that's a fairly long one. Cool. All of these may be that kind of length. Yeah, if they're all long, I'll remember. Really, when you're taking apart a laptop, guys, you should, of course, put your screws in different sections and categories and stuff. You know, organise everything just so you remember what's what. But whatever, let's just put those over there. Now we have the screws on the side that we need to take care of. There are 3 screws on each side. Don't know if you can see these. Let's put it like that. Okay, so that's one side done. Let's do the other side. And then we should be pretty much nearly ready to open it up. A couple of screws on the inside. Probably. Okay, so that's a load of screws out of the machine. Let's open the lid. And we have 2 Torx T6 screws at the top here. Apple always like to throw in a couple of Torx ones. Just, you know, to spice things up a little bit. Right then, now we can open up the machine, which is pretty cool. Now, it would be good if I had like my nylon pry tool, but I can't find it anywhere. Do you know what, guys? We've missed out a load of screws. I've literally just realised there's a load of screws on the back here. Let's take these out. Now we're ready to go. Much better. Hey, we're free. Okay, so here we have the keyboard. And of course, here are the ribbon cables connecting the keyboard and trackpad to the machine. So, this is the keyboard ribbon cable, which hang on, let's remove the trackpad one first, because that's a simple push-on one. Not sure how the keyboard one works, actually. It could just be a pull, but it looks like I may have to unlatch it or something. So, you know, always a good idea to watch tutorials first. Anyway, I don't have to take that completely off. Here is the drive, and this is what we want to work with. So, by the looks of the drive here, guys, we've got a little bit of tape and stuff. Let me zoom into the drive area, actually. So here's the drive. It is indeed an Apple original. It's got the Apple logo there in the corner. So I think the first thing we need to do is unpeel the tape and keep it safe over there. Unpeel the other tape and put it over there. And then there's a couple of screws holding this drive bracket in. So I did resort to having a little check online, and there are these tiny screws right down in between the optical drive and hard drive here that you have to remove that I didn't see. because they are pretty much impossible. It's really hard to get your screwdriver in there. But still, we're getting there. Right then, those are out. I've unplugged the drive, so she should, here we go. Drive is free from the machine. Okay, I pray to God that this works, because I really want this guy to get his data back. So, there's a little drive bracket there. There is this little IDE ribbon cable here. This all needs to be reused if we're going to reuse it. And there are these 4 screws on the side of the drive, as well as this little plasticky cover that you see on some of these drives. We'll carefully put this machine, sort of place it back together. Let me move that stuff from out within there. Cool. Let's do that. Let's move this up a little touch, so we can go like that. And let's move this over onto the floor. So now we are left with this bare drive. So let me see if I can find an enclosure for it. So after a bit of hunting, I found this. This is a 2.5 inch IDE drive enclosure. I also found this one, but this one's SATA, so that can go to one side along with my other SATA one. These things always come in handy. Now, they're really cheap, so the drives literally drop in and out of them. That really took some persuasion. This drive is knackered anyway. Can't remember where that came from, but this is the important one. This is the drive from the PowerBook, so we want to make sure this is dealt with nicely. So with even more persuasion, we are finally in, which is always a good thing. Let's put the top lid back on just in case. There we go, that's the top lid. And there's the USB and the LED. So, let's get the USB lead dangling right over here, and let's plug her in and see what she does. Other way around. Okay, so I have the USB cable directly plugged into my Mac Pro. No hubs, no anything like that. And if you look at the LED, you can see that it's pulsating in sort of in quite a rhythmic fashion, I guess you could say. It's just 1, 2, 3, 4 kind of thing. And you won't be able to hear it on the camera. I have to put my ear right up next to the drive. But it is clicking, sort of like that. But I don't think it's a broken hard drive tick. Now, at first I got pretty scared, but let me unplug this actually, because if my theory is correct, then this could be damaging to the drive. Here we have a single USB cable. Now, this enclosure, as you can see, the drive is just pushed onto the board there. This enclosure is unusual in terms of the fact that it only has one USB. Now, this is not the original lead that came with the enclosure. If you look at this USB cable, hang on a second. It's tangled up in my headphones, wait a sec, sorry about the bad camera work, guys. Here we have this USB cable, which goes with this enclosure here. Now, this has a standard USB port on it, which I hate. You know, it's not mini, it's not micro, it's just a standard USB port, which is, you know, really bizarre on that drive enclosure. So there's the standard USB, but it goes to USB here and another USB. So what happens is, it gets power and data from this one, then it gets additional power from this one. If you plug just this one in, the drive goes. It's not the drive ticking, it's the motor trying to spin the platter, but it doesn't have enough power. So that's why you plug in the additional power, And hey presto, the 2 USB ports worth of power is enough to spin the drive, because these older drives probably take more power to spin up. Now, no idea if this came with a sort of dual USB cable or not. This drive is broken anyway, so I can't tell if this enclosure spins this drive. But what I'm going to do is buy a new IDE enclosure. Now the interesting thing is, all of the IDE enclosures, or the few that I've looked at so far, all of the cheapo, really cheap IDE enclosures have 2 USB connections. So this drive could well and truly be absolutely knackered. However, I truly believe that it's not getting enough power, because when it tries to spin the drive, it's trying to spin the drive every now and again. And the fact that the LED is dimming fairly significantly shows that there's a big drain on the power. And then obviously it doesn't get a big enough power spike to spin the platter, therefore the drive won't spin up, therefore it won't read, it won't mount, and Bob's your uncle, you can't use the drive. So this is it for part 1. This has become a 2-part video, a short 2-parter, but it's because I need to order an enclosure and wait for it to come. So you'll see the other part later in the week probably, with a few other videos in between. But this has been fairly interesting, and it's nice to fiddle around with laptop hard drives for a change. Because I do a lot of desktop stuff, and it's pretty cool fiddling around with the laptop stuff. In terms of the PowerBook, I have just thrown all of the screws in there. That is literally all of the screws. I think there are about, not including the ones that were on the hard drive with those rubber gaskets, I believe there are 4 different lengths of screws, so it's not too bad at all. I know that the longest ones go, the 4 in the bottom, and I know there's different length ones for the inside and blah blah blah. Yeah, I'll figure it out how to put it back together. But anyway, I'm going to keep this drive safe for now with the lid on. And I'm going to stop moving it around. Actually, I'm just going to put it to one side after this video, because there are some, I think it's mainly photographs stored on this drive that are important. You guys know what it's like losing data, and he's asked me to take a look at it to see if I can get his stuff back, and I would love to genuinely be able to do that for him, because it's a nice thing to do for someone. Anyway, both of these laptop drives are actually broken, so I have no idea why I've got them, but I'm going to keep them for, yeah, I don't know why I'm going to keep them. Anyway, I'm rambling off into a different topic now, guys. We have all these bits of PowerBook sitting around. So we have these things that need to be kept all together, and the original tape as well, which needs to be put back, even though that's gone really, really bad. So I might put some fresh on there. But anyway, that's the drive. Stay tuned for part 2, guys. Should be fairly interesting. Like I say, there's going to be some other videos in between that. If you'd like to interact with me further, please feel free to head down into the video description. There's a lot of useful links down there. And if you follow me on Facebook or like the official ItsMyNaturalColour, if you follow me on Twitter, sorry, and you like the official ItsMyNaturalColour Facebook page, you'll get a lot of updates outside of YouTube as well. So that's really cool. So this drive, I'm really hoping is going to work. Really, really hoping. I'll get on to ordering a new enclosure right now. Only a few quid. I've probably got enough money in my account to do so. And until next time, guys, look forward to part 2, and I'll see you in the next video, which will probably be related to something else.